Hey everybody, welcome back. Okay, so today we're going to be going over equations with parentheses. Equations with parentheses look like this. What you're going to notice is that we have the x plus 1 inside of a parentheses, and they're being multiplied by a 3 on the outside. Let's see what this equation looks like. Notice we have 3 times x plus 1, and that equals negative 18. What I'm hoping that you notice is that 3 groups of x plus 1 would mean that I have 3 groups of x plus 1. And then I'm hoping what you can notice is that in addition to this, I could put all the x's together and all the 1's together, and you'd be able to notice that I have 3 x's and 3 1's. 3 1's equals 3, and if I change negative 18 into negative 21 plus 3, I can easily eliminate my 3's. And I'm left with 3x equals negative 21. Now, each of negative 21, if I broke it into 3 pieces, I would get negative 7 in each of my pieces. And from here, I'm sure everyone could realize that the answer is going to be x equals negative 7. Okay, while I like this for illustration, I would never ever solve a problem this way. It's just too long. So let me show you how I would solve this problem. But if you're wondering ever what we're doing, please come back to the screen and see what the visual is for how we're handling the parentheses. Let me show you how we work it. So the rule is when there are parentheses in equations, using the distributive property first does help solve the problem. So here's what I would do. I have 3 times x plus 1, and I hope what you realized was when I said that I had 3 times x, that was 3 groups of x. And 3 times 1, well, that's 3 groups of 1. So hopefully you noticed that we had 3 x's and 3 1's, which equaled 3. Now, hopefully it looks like a two-step algebra problem, where we eliminate whatever's being added on first before we divide by 3. And we get the answer, y equals negative 7. Of course, we always check our work to see if we did it right, especially if we're unsure of ourselves. And let's see how we can handle this with a 2-column proof. Why'd you guys decide to do this problem? That's right, because it was given. What did we do first? We used the distributive property where we distributed the 3 to the x and the 3 to the 1, making sure that we had 3 groups of x and 3 groups of 1's, which equaled 3. So that is known as the distributive property. From there, we did a 2-step algebra problem where we undid the addition before we undid the multiplication. So this is the addition property, we simplify, and then we can use the division property of equality. And once we simplify, we get our answer. All right, here's one for you guys to try. If you want to pause, now's the time. Okay, here we go. We're doing this problem because it's given. Since the x is inside the variable, or excuse me, inside the parentheses, we are going to be using the distributive property for our first step. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x, and negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Now we have a 2-step algebra problem, and what we're able to do is add 20 to both sides using the addition property, and then dividing by negative 5 using the division property. Once we simplify, we know our answer is x equals 1. All right, ready for one more? If you can do this one, you can do any algebra problem out there. So let's take a look. Hopefully you notice that the variable is inside the parentheses, so that after we realize we're doing this because it's given, we're going to use the distributive property to be able to multiply 3 times 2, which is 6, and 3 times negative 5, which is negative 15. Here's what I hope you notice right now. We have 2 things that are alike. So we combine our like terms to get to 6x plus negative 8 equals negative 38. Now it's a 2-step algebra problem. And if you add 8 to both sides, you eliminate the negative 8 using the addition property. Once you simplify, you're here. You divide by negative 6 and divide by negative 6 using the division property, and you get your answer of positive 5. once you simplify. Okay, if you have any questions on this, please make sure to ask. We're going to practice lots, but this will give you a good idea of what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Hopefully by now you've realized the name of the game in algebra is isolate the variable or get the letter by itself.